Welcome to Table Talk here at the Philadelphia Sports Table Podcast Show, the longest running weekly Philly sports podcast show in the world. Just about 13 years strong, and we got a great discussion coming your way here on Table Talk this week to dive into this Philadelphia Flyers team, this team that has been driving us nuts all season. We've got our good friend from BroadStreetHockey.com. You can also hear over on PHLY Sports every now and again, our good friend Kelly Hinkle. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good, Jeff. How are you doing?
Doing all right. I mean, look, watching last night's game against Dallas and how Trevor Zegras just brought it back home in overtime. My goodness. Yeah. We're going to get into it. But I feel like we have the same conversation just about this time every year, Kelly. And you're so nice to come on the pod all the time whenever I ask. And it's like, it's the same thing. It's like, do we want this team really getting to the playoffs? Do we want this team really trying to make a run? Do we want this team maybe to flop a little bit so they get a better draft pick? Where do we want this team to go in the future? I feel like we're in limbo. We're in limbo here.
I don't know. This year I feel a little bit different, I think, than I felt in the last couple of years. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you've been more positive, dare I say. You've been a little bit positive concerning this team. Everything that I've seen from you and like hearing you when you're on PHLY. Well, I mean, let's get into it. And I know this is a very general question to get us started off here, but like, how would you characterize where the Flyers are at as a team? I believe only 9 games left as we're recording this during the regular season. And again, kind of being in that middling type of position within the Metropolitan Division. But given that they have been really on an incredible run here, how do you characterize this team?
So if we had this conversation maybe like a month ago, maybe like right before the Olympics or something, I would have told you, listen, it's not going to happen. If it's not going to happen, you might as well lose as many games as you can and maximize that draft position.
Right.
Because that's the logical thing, right? Like Bill and I from PHLY talk about this all the time. As a fan, as soon as the game starts, you're watching the game. You're not going to get mad when the Flyers score a goal. You're not going to be upset if they win the game. Like,
right.
when you like step back and think about it globally, it's like, it's probably better if they lose a bunch of games and get a better draft pick. However, this year, especially out west, there are a lot of real bad hockey teams.
Yes.
So the likelihood that the Flyers were going to get a very good lottery pick, slim anyway. Just because of the steps that they've been taking forward, because of the rebuild kind of progressing year by year, they're just not as bad as those teams. And that's a good thing. But, a month and a half ago, they weren't really close enough to the playoffs, I think, for me to believe that they could really get there, especially with the way they were playing. It was looking pretty dire there, especially in January.
Oh, yeah.
But now we're 2 points out, Jeff.
I know.
We're 2 points out and they're playing so well. And so now I'm like all in. Now I'm like, let's do it. Will they win a single game in the first round? I don't know. Depends on the team. However, I do also think that like with a goaltender like Vladar, who has shown the ability to steal games and play really well, the playoffs are kind of weird, man. Like anything can happen. And so I kind of feel like at this point, as close as we are with the way the team is playing, might as well go for it.
I'm usually Mr. Optimistic on this podcast platform. You can ask my buddies, Eric and Len, who are just like, they're always like, the rug's going to get pulled out from under us. Disappointment is right around the corner. We're going to be crying in the fetal position when it's all said and done. And I am, in a sense, feeling that in a way. I love the excitement that you have, because I'll tell you right now, if there's somebody in Flyers Nation who I love in terms of the energy, whether it's positive or even from a pessimistic standpoint, it's you, and I'm being honest about that. And I love the positive energy that you have right now, because there is some chemistry that we're seeing game by game, and there is this cohesion, dare I say, coming together with certain lines, certain players. And we just talked about how you characterize this team. Now, what about Rick Tocchet here as the head coach of this team? I'm wondering, how do you characterize Rick Tocchet, especially after the Olympic break, when many of us wanted to see if he was going to make any alterations to his coaching, his decision-making, how the lineups were going to go? Because like after some of those losses in January, you'd reflect on and be like, my God, the lineups, like what's this guy doing? But now where the team is at, how do you characterize Tocchet here?
Oh,
I know.
I am not the biggest fan.
I know you're not.
Tocchet as the coach of this hockey team. I feel like you always have to say on these kinds of things, not talking about him as a person. Sure,
Right.
he's a very nice guy. I just would not have hired him to coach this hockey game at this stage of their kind of rebuild process.
Yeah.
And I'm not entirely sure that it's going to, if we look back in 5 years at his tenure, I don't know if it's going to prove out to be the best possible way that the Flyers could have gone.
Yeah.
As always, I think I say this all the time on your show, would love to be wrong about that. Would love to see Rick Tocchet be the coach that leads this team to the Stanley Cup. That would be awesome. That said, I do think that even for me, there have been some positive developments over the last little while. For example, he seems to have kind of lightened up on his weird obsession about playing Matvei Michkov on his off wing and limiting his minutes, and I don't know, like publicly calling him fat. Like that seems to have slowed down a little bit. So that's good. Seems like maybe they're playing a little bit more of like a rush-based offense from time to time than just like a pure dump and chase, which is what they were doing for a while. I still kind of think that his system seems to be designed to have as few things happen as possible in a hockey game. So like, we have these games where the Flyers take like 16 shots in the course of an entire game. And it's like, it's
incredible.
This isn't fun.
Right.
Like, we want to see these guys doing stuff. We want to see these exciting young players, like, just popping off in the offensive zone. And part of me still worries that Rick Tocchet is not the guy that's going to let that happen. That said, it's, as always, results are results. And as bad as January was, and while this last stretch hasn't been perfect, there have been some disappointing games, particularly those Blue Jackets games were real bummers. The team has been playing well. The lines have been looking good. Like you said, there seems to be some cohesion, some chemistry developing with these guys. The fourth line looks good lately, which that was real bad for a little while. So, I mean, I'll give credit where it's due. The team looks better over the last month than it has for most of the season. Is that because of Rick Tocchet? I'm sure it had something to do with it. I mean, honestly, so I find that he's not very good in front of a microphone, which is strange to me because he's like a media guy, right? But like, I feel like every time he's a press conference or every time they like stick a microphone in front of his face, he says something and I'm like, what are you doing? However, just the other day, this video came out of him in the locker room. And then I was like, oh, like that I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of see it. Like I kind of see that guy as the guy that people are super excited about. So I want to be wrong about Rick Tocchet. I feel a little bit better about him over the last couple of weeks than I have for most of the season. I'm still a little bit hesitant to believe he's going to be the best possible fit for this team.
I think, and look, this may be me just trying to make an excuse because sometimes I do that in the world of Philly sports, make an excuse for folks.
What else can we do?
I know. I feel like maybe he's still just trying to get a better sense of the team and even the talent. And I know it's almost been a year of him, having this team under his wing. But there's a lot of young guys on this team. And we saw some absolutely ridiculous coaching in December and especially January. Yeah. But I think folks can grow. I just do, and we may be seeing that right now. Him growing with the talent that he has, like you mentioned, the fourth line. I mean, it's been pretty good so far. And I don't know, maybe things are just clicking here for the guys on the ice, but I do give Tocchet I do give him some credit for it. I really do.
Sure. I mean, you got to give him some. And you're right. I do think that coaches can get better. There's a distinct possibility that maybe like having a whole summer with this team, really getting to know the players in and out, maybe that will lead to some better, in our opinion, coaching decisions.
Yeah.
next season. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, they gave him a 5-year contract. We're going to be stuck with him for at least 3. Like, let's be serious. So, like, it is what it is. And I hope, that it just continues to get better, because that's what we all want to see happen.
That's what we want to see. Absolutely. But we also want to see certain players on this team kind of up their performance a little bit as well. So I'm wondering, are there any players, or maybe just one player or so on this team that down the stretch you just want to see more from? Is there a player or players that you're really going to be looking at during the final stretch here?
So the one that really sticks out for me is Travis Konechny. The reason is, like, he is, for all intents and purposes, the best player on the team.
Yeah. And what a goal yesterday, by the way, against the Stars.
That was great to see.
Yeah.
Because if you look at his points totals over the last 10 and 15 games, they're not very good. And, he went out in front of a microphone and said, man, I just want to make the playoffs. And, like, totally get that. Like, if you're a guy like Travis Konechny, you're as good as he is. It's got to be really annoying to be on a team that's just never even sniffing the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's what he's been dealing with for most of his career. And so I get the frustration there. But, like, if that's the case, if you're the best player on the team, you're the highest paid player on the team, I think. You're the guy that wants to make the playoffs. You want to lead this team there. Like, I need to see you step it up when it comes. Like, I talked about those Blue Jackets games. Like, those games were not must win in, like, a technical sense. Like, they didn't have to win them in order to make the playoffs, but they were big, like, statement games, right? Like, there were games that, like, this is a team you're chasing. This is a team that really you're kind of, like, even with talent-wise, I think.
Yep.
Like, you should be coming out and just dominating them, especially at home, and showing that, like, yeah, we want to do this. We're going to make the playoffs. We're going to make it happen. We're going to take down this team that's in front of us. And I want to see a guy like Konechny get out on the ice and, like, will it to happen.
Yeah.
And last night's goal was a good step forward. I hope we see more of that, because I feel like if
he was aggressive, he was aggressive when putting that puck in the net there. Yeah. I mean, he could have passed it, but he didn't. He went right for it. I loved seeing that.
Yeah, and that's what I want to see more of from him. I want to see him being one of the guys with multi-point games going down this stretch, because we're going to need every bit of it.
Yeah.
They're close, but it's a real, like, mushy, third in the Metro wild card situation. Like, there's a lot of teams right there. Yep. And the Flyers, the only thing they can do is control their own destiny, right? Like, so they got to win these hockey games. And if they're going to guarantee themselves that they're going to do that, a guy like Travis Konechny has to get out there and be that leader, be the best player on the team, do what he did against Dallas, and just, like, put it away.
Be aggressive. You got to be aggressive every minute you're out there on the ice, for sure. Folks, again, we're talking to Kelly Hinkle from BroadStreetHockey.com. You can also hear her over on PHLY every now and again, at Hinks over on the Twitter/X. I know you're also on Blue Sky, I believe, at Hinks, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to promo?
Nah, just BroadStreetHockey.com. It's the best website on the internet.
Awesome. Yes, BroadStreetHockey.com, folks. I'm a subscriber. Look, I give the $5 a month, but they do great work, right?
I appreciate that.
It helps out a little bit, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, we're going to go to break really quick, folks. When we come back, we've got more Philadelphia Flyers talk coming your way. All right, we are back with our good friend Kelly Hinkle from BroadStreetHockey.com. And as we are looking at this team and the possibilities of what this final stretch of the regular season might be, we certainly have to talk about one Porter Martone. He has decided to forego the rest of his college career, wants to jump right into the NHL, right into this Philadelphia Flyers team, and his entry-level contract is going to kick in immediately. So I wonder, Kelly, what type of juice he's really going to give this Flyers team down the stretch, and really what our expectations should be for his performance when, there's only a few games left in the season. I mean, there are the irrational folks within Flyers Nation that are going to be like, oh, he's got to come in and make incredible changes to the culture of this team and all that stuff. But what should the realistic expectations be with Martone when he comes in?
I think in these kinds of situations, I think that the best way forward is always to kind of just, like, have, a positive outlook, but tempered expectations. Like, this kid's 19 years old.
Yep.
He's coming in to play on a team that he's never played on before. with a whole new group of guys that he's never played with before, with a coach he's never played for before. Like all of this is going to be brand new, and it's going to take him some time to adjust to all of that. And 9 games might not be enough for him to fully adjust to all that. And I think that'll be okay. However, I kind of expect, a lot of jump. I do think that he's going to bring a little juice to the team. I think that the guys will be kind of energized by the idea that we have this really good prospect that's going to help us in this playoff push. Yeah. I'm kind of hoping that kind of, gives everybody a little bit more energy on the ice. And I expect him to look pretty good. Like, I don't know if he's going to go out there and score, 15 goals in 9 games. Like, I don't know. Like, he's not going to go crazy. But I think he's probably going to look pretty good. Like he put on a bunch of weight apparently over the course of this year in college. He's like a big dude. Like he's not a teenager. Like he doesn't have like a Denver Barkey teenager body. Like he's like a physically developed hockey player. Yeah. So the idea that he could step right in and become a guy that maybe he's not going to be a game breaker right off the bat, but I do feel like he'll have an impact in a positive way on the team. And more than anything, I'm just kind of I'm excited to see what he looks like, because I mean, outside of Michkov, this is the most exciting thing that we have coming. Yes. And shiny new toy. Like I want to
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think what's going to be interesting too with Martone is who his line mates are going to end up being for the rest of the season. Thomas Williams over at Broad Street Hockey wrote a really good piece on this. Folks, again, head on over to broadstreethockey.com. You can check out the piece. And I was hoping we could get into some of what Thomas was specifically talking about. I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on his future line mates, who they may be? I know Thomas mentioned Noah Cates, and just like, what do you think it may actually happen with who his line mates might be?
So, a friend of the pod, Charlie O'Connor, he I think is reporting that he kind of thinks it's going to be Christian Dvorak and Travis Konechny.
Okay.
And I think that makes a lot of sense, because we mentioned earlier that Tocchet has finally put Matvei Michkov back where he belongs. And he and Martone play the same side, kind of naturally. Yep. I don't want to move Michkov back to the left. I don't want to bring Martone in and immediately put him on his offside. Like, can wingers play on either side in the grand scheme of things? Sure. But I feel like with young guys off the jump, like you probably want to make them as comfortable as possible, right? You want to put them in the best position for success. And I think that means playing them where they've been playing for most of their career. It makes a lot of sense to me. And Travis Konechny, being a vet, I think he can move over and it's totally fine. And then also you have, Christian Dvorak has been very reliable, good center for this team since joining them.
Yeah.
Travis Konechny, like we said, allegedly best player on the team. One of the vets at this point on the team. So having, I think, Martone with those two guys that are both steady and also have been very successful together, I think you're really putting him in a position to, off the jump, like we said, make a real impact on the game.
Really quick, just with regard to Travis Konechny, going back to Thomas's piece, he actually wrote a sentence which I just loved reading because of what it could be, that Konechny and Martone together might be the most annoying duo to play against. Like, how cool would that be? just to know that they're like a Flyers duo that other teams would be like, oh man, these guys are just going to be freaking annoying.
That would be outstanding. I mean, there's nothing better than having players that are both good and hated by other teams' fan bases because they're so annoying. Like that's the thing. Like you always want your own Brad Marchand, right? Like you want a guy that's super good that everybody hates.
Yep.
So the two of them together might just, be fun for that reason.
Yeah. I think I interrupted you. So sorry. Go ahead.
The Noah Cates thing, I think, is also not a terrible idea. Cates, obviously very solid, has a history of playing really well with, young wingers that are coming into the league. So, I mean, couldn't be a bad thing, but I kind of prefer the idea of Martone, off the jump. You're playing at the top of the lineup, kid. Like, get out there and do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that over these 9 games, we're going to see him with a whole bunch of combinations while they try to figure out what works.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do like the idea of Dvorak and Konechny out of the gate, because I think that's a nice, like, steady presence for him to kind of feed off of, and also maybe be really annoying.
It's going to be fun. Yes, I would love that. I love the annoying part. I love it. Well, to close us out here, you've got to talk about one storyline, that's just been on the back of everybody's mind, and that's Tyson Forster. And might he be coming back to the Flyers in the foreseeable future? Based on reports, it is possible. I know Rick Tocchet has erred on the side of caution when asked about when and if we'd see Forster's return this season. Kelly, are you optimistic that we may see Tyson Forster in the near future, or just should the Flyers kind of just keep him where he's at right now and make sure he's healing up the way he needs to?
So you definitely don't want to rush him. However, he's been skating with the team, and I didn't expect that he would be skating with the team already.
He was wearing a black jersey too.
The vibe was very much like he's done for the year. You know what I mean? Like, and to me, that means if you're done for the year, you're not practicing with the team, right? Like you're just not, because you're done for the year. So that kind of makes me think that maybe he's progressing a little bit more quickly than they initially thought. And that gets me back to this whole, like, I gotta root for them to get into the playoffs at this point, because I really think that, like, maybe if they get into the playoffs, like, I don't think we're going to see Tyson Forster in the regular season, but if they get themselves into the postseason, we might see him come back in the first round. And imagine the juice then, Jeff. You got Porter Martone, you got Forster coming back, you got Michkov coming on, like Vladar playing. Well, like, the possibility is there. And I know this is getting ahead of myself, but the possibility is there for this team to be an annoying first round upset kind of candidate. Like, I really think that it's there. Like, if they end up with a team like Buffalo, you know what I mean? Like, maybe.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I am expecting to see Forster. Definitely not in the regular season, but it would not shock me that if they get into the playoffs, that he won't make it back sometime during the first round.
You got me excited.
Get on board, baby. Let's go. It's more fun this way.
It is. You got me optimistic now, folks. Kelly's got us optimistic here about where the Flyers can go at the end of the season here.
They can't get into the top 10 of they can't get into the top 10 of the draft. You can't do it. It's not going to happen, so you might as well go the other way.
Again, folks, Kelly Hinkle from BroadStreetHockey.com. She's got us optimistic here, and I love the energy. Love you bringing that optimism here to the show this week. My friend, come back and join us down the road. I'd love to have you back on the show.
For the playoffs, Jeff.
Yes, let's do it.